close to 100. They should, just based on their staff. Okay, so now I've gotten you guys to that point where what the Astros saw in the MRI ended up coming to fruition. Now, whether people want to say, well, kind of they were right, but, there's no way of knowing this was going to happen or know exactly what they saw in the MRI, whatever. However they were right, it ended up being right. So that happened. I don't mean to laugh at this kid, but it happened. Okay, back to the quote. Okay, now, I know they'll probably be wondering about it again. I can honestly say that I don't regret not signing. Really?
Yeah.
A little bit. Just a little bit. But again, you don't know where this dude came from. You know what I mean? But the more he talks, he didn't come from the projects. I'm just going to say that. Okay. It was a very difficult decision.
He attended Cathedral Catholic High in San Diego.
Okay. It was a very difficult decision, but it also was an informed decision based on circumstances only a few people know about the truth. My family and I planned for all possible outcomes. Sure. So you planned if your elbow got blown out before you got a dime. Yeah, stop letting 18-year-olds talk too. Yeah.
This would have never happened.
I'm going to have a sliding scale of people who are allowed to talk. Like you can't be over 45, you can't be under 19.
Devontae Jackson, this would have never happened to him.
Yeah,
he might have blew out his elbow.
Yeah, he would have signed his in blood. He would have signed his in blood immediately. Ain't nobody got no pen? Hand me a knife. Show you exactly how tough I am. Where was I? Oh, we weighed the pros and cons, talked with friends and mentors and doctors whose opinions we value, and discussed it over a number of family dinners. This wasn't a decision made lightly. The money wasn't the only factor. Once again, another clue into where this kid comes from financially. The money wasn't the only factor. Like that same kid that you're talking about, Deontay, his mom has already bought the Lamborghini or bought the Land Rover and the new house already before any of this.
And some other paying.
Yeah, all this has happened. My family was smart, and we accounted for all possible risks. Having gone through this process, I really encourage other players to take the time to be fully educated about what they are getting into, and to plan for the unexpected. Having a solid plan, like now, this is when you start asking questions. This plan that you keep alluding to, kind of fill me in on the details of that. How's that plan go? Even now, I know I made the decision that made the most sense for my future. Really?
Yeah. You smell that, Mike?
Oh, sure, it reeks. Yes.
Smell like some BS to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. It smells like a bull ate some S and then vomited back up while taking another S on top of it. That's what it smells like. Yes. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can try to spend it any way you want to, homeboy, but that's $5 million. That's $5 million before taxes. Your money. That's baseball money. That's signing bonus money. So whether you make it to
and he was drafted by the Astros?
Yeah. So
that means no state taxes.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so that's happening. And again, it's another one of those things in baseball that just kind of like, it perplexes me that, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the sport as a whole, but the details around it that, now I understand maybe because the Major League Baseball has like 12 different drafts, and then each one has like 90 rounds to it. I'm being hyperbolic. There's not that many and not that many rounds, but you get my point. It's a whole bunch of rounds, a whole bunch of players. That's when you hear stuff like Russell Wilson gets drafted or this person gets drafted. They just like, they don't have anything else to do. Just like, let's just draft somebody. I might get drafted tomorrow next year and not even know it. Because it's too many. So you can't, it's not like you can keep up with it like 2 rounds in the NBA or like 7 rounds over 3 days in the NFL. This thing is just, it's bananas. So I understand not being able to, evaluate every player. Because every player that you draft, you're not even drafting him for real. But if it's the first dude of all these rounds and all these players, I'm probably going to want to get some get to know him a little bit better. Just say it that way, a little bit more intimately as far as his medical goes. Just that. You ain't got to run no 40, cuz. Just, let me have my doctor cuff your balls, cough, do the whole physical thing, put you up on this machine, X-ray your ligaments and thus forth to make sure everything is intact, and then we'll move forward. But the fact that I got to draft you before I know any of this, and then you want to get an attitude when I find something out, I'm like, no, it's supposed to be $6 million. Well, that's before you had that thing on the X-ray right there in your elbow. Yeah, before you had that, it was 6. Now you're a devalued commodity, sir. That's what that's called.
And his doctors failed him. Whoever his family went to for the second opinion, like they failed him.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that the doctors for the Astros saw something and another doctor didn't. That's just hard to believe.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
especially
possible.
MRI.
That's possible. You know what I mean?
MRI.
Yeah, it's possible that somebody.
Well, not that they could have compared.
That not that they don't see the same thing, but someone sees something as not as serious as the other person sees it. You know, some people say, well, no, it's not that big a deal. It's something that can be worked out. He's young, blah, 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 blah. And the team that's ponying up the money is a bigger deal to them because it's like, look, if we get this dude $6 million, it need to work 100%. You know what I mean? It don't need to like, okay, you had to like go outside and kick the tire and then bow the hood and get back in and let it roll for a second before you turn the crank. You know, you shouldn't have to do all that to start the car. You know what I mean? It should just, I jump in, hit the button because it should be a push button car if I'm buying it first round, first pick. Yeah, just push the button, start the engine, and pull off. So yeah, two people see two different things. Say, you know, it's not that serious of a situation. Blah 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 blah. The other person sees it and says, you know what, it's a little bit too serious for $5 million. Because at the end of the day, and they made this point in the article as well. At the end of the day, they didn't just say kick rocks. They wasn't just like, all right, dude, nah, we're not going to sign you at all. Because had they done that, they would have been guaranteed. And I think even now, what's going to happen with the Astros is they're guaranteed the second overall pick next year's draft because of what happened with their first overall pick. He didn't sign. So because he didn't sign, don't ask me to explain how the rule goes because, again, me and baseball aren't that close of friends.
But that's crazy. They tried. They tried to really work with that dude, man.
Yeah, they get the overall second pick next year. So he'll go back into the draft or he'll go to college or whatever he plans on doing, and then they'll pick second next year. And that's how, that's how it works. So my point is, even though they saw something on the MRI, they didn't walk away. They still offered him money. So the reality is it wasn't that devastating of whatever they saw to make them say, all right, we're out. We can't even sign you, dude. So whatever was going on in your elbow is just so bad, we can't even deal with it. They could deal with it. They just need to deal with it at a lower price. You know what I'm saying? That was a sticking point. The elbow was like a secondary issue. It was just the money. The money was like, yeah, we don't want to give you 6. And then because of the public pressure or the media pressure, they went ahead and jumped back up to 5.1.
That's what I'm saying. They tried to work with him.
But
they
then,
tried to work with this dude.
Feelings get hurt, and, he's 18, and, people get the emotions involved in business, and then, it's like, well, you could have done that in the first place. I'm not saying he said that, but inevitably he ended up walking away. And he made comments about playing for someone who had his best interest in mind or the best interest of his future in mind.
Oh, my God. They had it. Look, man, you got to, okay, and this is a team sport, right? And if you see something, you got to have some concern about it. I mean, you can't just invest your money in something and you think there's something wrong with it.
And you are the Astros, too, so there's that.
Yeah.
You're the badass Astros.
But the bottom line is like, like I said, I just don't like the, I hate hearing stories like that. Dude just
everybody make
walked away.
Their own decisions, And if the kid is if he's that talented of a kid, it'll be a non-situation. Next year he'll come back off the injury. Like most Tommy John recipients, they'll put him on some sort of pitch limitation or whatever. And if he's who people think he's supposed to be, a couple years from now we'll see him in the major leagues making plenty of money, and it'll be a non-issue. You know what I mean? If things work out as planned. So. To me, the bigger part of the story is just the things that I know I don't understand about baseball and the way things are done. This kid walking away from $5.1 million, the only thing I can assume is because he can. You know what I mean? One, he can because of whatever financial situation his family's already in, and two, the confidence that he must have in his own ability to be able to recoup that same $5 million once everything is back in tow, because these surgeries are really not holding anybody back nowadays. Like, dudes are getting these Tommy John surgeries, and it's like dudes are electing to get Tommy John surgeries young. Like 16-year-old dudes in high school are choosing to get it done so they don't have to get it done later. It's like stuff like that is happening, which is weird, but whatever. It's the sign of the times. Cats are specializing more as far as sports go and as far as positions go within sports. Like, cats aren't playing outfield and catcher and shortstop and first base and pitcher. Dudes are like, I'm a pitcher, and so it's putting a lot of stress on. Well, a lot of the baseball people say this because I don't really know that I know, but a lot of people, the John Smoltzes of the world and these guys who speak about these pitchers who speak on television, they talk about kids specializing earlier and that continual motion over and over and over and over again. Like, understand, throwing a football is different than throwing a baseball. Passing a basketball is different than throwing a football or throwing a baseball. They're all different motions. So if you got a kid that's playing all three sports, his arm isn't doing the same thing over and over and over again. He is throwing, but it's a different motion in three different sports. Instead of him playing summer ball and spring ball and fall ball and then playing the regular season, ball and baseball, playing baseball year round, doing the same motion over and over again. Yeah, by the time this kid's 18 years old having Tommy John surgery. Like, we can't let that escape us. This kid is 18 years old having Tommy freaking John surgery. Like, because it's become it's become, what the hell are you doing, dude? Are you like tearing a phone book? What's happening?
No, keep going. I'm flipping through a magazine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I could hear you. It sounds like you're trying to be a strong man and tear a phone book in half.
You hear that? That's unbelievable.
Dude, I told you earlier I can hear everything you're doing. You didn't believe me?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that thing in front of you, in case you didn't know, it's called a microphone. It picks up sound.
I know that.
Picks up
but
sound.
I didn't realize it was so sensitive. I didn't realize it was so sensitive.
So yeah, that was the biggest thing to me. The fact that this kid is having Tommy John freaking surgery at 18 years old. Yeah. Here's the other thing in baseball that happened today. Big Papi's talking. Yes, he is.
Yeah, shut up, Big Papi.
Derek Jeter has I wish I had the name of it here too. His outlet, his media outlet that he's a part of, where he gives athletes. And it happened to be one of my notes that did not clip. He gives athletes their a forum to express themselves, and supposedly, I'm saying supposedly, Big Papi wrote this article. Like, you can, if you're me, you'll kind of, that's not the big part of it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Someone probably wrote it for him, is what I'm saying. But he is being. I mean, I think they're his words, but I don't think he penned them, is what I'm saying. And plenty of people don't as well. But he's talking about how he never knowingly, where have we heard that before? Never knowingly took steroids. All right, Papi, here's the deal. We know a couple years ago, about a decade or so ago, a little report came out that wasn't supposed to, and everyone fully admits that. It was supposed to be anonymous. But you failed a drug test, dude. And your excuse was it was something over the counter. See, the problem is we've heard that before. We've heard that before. And he made it. He put it all on the table exactly of what he's concerned about. He says, quote, "I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame." That is what is concerning him now. He talks about writers being able to dictate his legacy. Like, all these words are I'm saying coming out of his mouth. They're being penned to this article. And it's like, man, what are you mad about? Like, first of all, you way too mad to be an innocent dude, first of all. But second of all, you play baseball.
Yeah, and you tested positive.
Yeah.
Positive for
you play baseball.
PED.
So, yeah, don't, he tells this story about, he's at his crib in the Dominican, and he gets a knock at the door at 7:30, and, they in the Dominican, so he's like, who the hell is this? He said, who the F is this, actually? At my door at this early time in the morning. Well, it's the testing people. And then he's like trying to bag on them for showing up so early. Well, first of all, if I show up at 7:30 in the morning and I wake you up,
They came to the Dominican?
Yeah, baseball sent them to the Dominican. It's random.
Wow.
Yes, sir. So if I show
you can't even have them.
No. I show up at 7:30, the one thing I know you're going to have to do is pee. Yeah, ain't no